So after finishing 33-49 and being out of the play-in picture, the Los Angeles Lakers had probably the most disappointing season in the league, and you can say arguably the most disappointing season in franchise history when you consider the expectations of this team heading into the season, with analysts, so-called analysts, saying this team would win over 60 games. You got Kendrick Perkins dragging it, saying 70 plus win team, who knows. None of that happened. They came not even close because they didn't even win 35 games. But now with everything behind them and this season being all over, it's time for the Lakers to go back to the drawing board and see how they can get back to being at the top of the Western Conference like they were back in 2020. Because the conference is getting better and better every single year. We've got the young teams like the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, and the Grizzlies, who finished second in the Western Conference. They're slowly taking over. You got the big dog, the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs, the dynasty. They are still crowned champions. They are not going to let that go. And then you got the teams that are returning, the Clippers, the Nuggets. So many teams are going to be competing next season. The Lakers got to find a way to make moves to get themselves back into that territory, because right now their team is a mess and there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to have to figure out. But at least for now, they went one step into the right direction by hiring head coach Darvin Ham. Problem is, he's going to have to figure out a lot. So let's discuss what he is going to have to figure out, and not only him, but Rob Pelinka in the front office. Starting off with the obvious, how are the Lakers going to build this roster? Because last season, they were the oldest team in the league, and it was clear that they couldn't keep up with the younger, talented teams. For example, when they played Memphis, it was clear as day. Memphis was so much better than them, so much more athletic than them. It was hard to watch. Especially if you're a Laker fan, it was definitely hard to watch. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm trying to bring back these guys like Malik Monk, Stanley Johnson, because they are younger, they're fresher bodies, and they played solid for them. Stanley Johnson gave tremendous effort on the defensive end, and Malik Monk provided that scoring boost off the bench. Sometimes when he started, he provided it as well. I like those two guys coming off the bench for this team next year. But when you talk about the defensive end and why I mentioned Stanley Johnson, the Lakers were one of the worst defensive teams in basketball this past season. So obviously keeping a guy like that is going to be helpful, but I think the main thing for this team is they definitely need to try to get younger and get more defensive personnel, more defensive wings, more defensive. Just that defensive intensity needs to be installed into this roster's DNA. It needs to happen, because if it doesn't, they're pretty much going to have the same type of season that they had this past year. The next major decision on the Lakers' hands, and I think this one is more directed towards new head coach Darvin Ham, is how is he going to figure out a way to get Russell Westbrook involved and playing at a higher level? Because this season that we saw from Russell Westbrook was horrible. He did not fit well alongside LeBron James at all, and there was always questions about whether or not he'd fit. It was clear that he did not fit. And now you see, he just struggled. He just flat out struggled. He was in his own head. He struggled to adjust when he was on the floor with LeBron because he just can't shoot. So by him not shooting, he can't really play off the ball unless you want him to backdoor cut. But let's be real, how many times is that really going to work? And by that, he just couldn't play to his strengths. And that played like the major role of him having what I believe is the worst season of his career. He just never really found his footing. But the problem is, with everybody saying, oh, get rid of Russ, and I was one of those people too, the problem is his contract is so much money, and he's pretty much untradeable unless they trade that 2027 first round pick. And the thing is, they're not going to attach that pick alongside Russell Westbrook because, let's be real, there's a lot of uncertainty in the Lakers' future. And in 2027, who knows if AD, LeBron, or Russell Westbrook are on that team. Most likely LeBron will be out of the league. Anthony Davis in 2027, I don't know where he'll be. And then Russell Westbrook, same goes for him. Where is he going to be? And if they end up a lottery team, that pick becomes valuable. So I can see exactly why they don't want to trade that pick away. Lastly though, for this Lakers franchise, and I think this one goes for the whole organization, not just the coach or this team coming up for next season, but this is for the future including next season, because we need to figure out, if you're a Laker fan, is Anthony Davis that guy? Is he really that guy that's going to lead their franchise forward for next season and for the years after that, especially for life after LeBron James when he retires or leaves, whatever he does? So far, based off what I've seen, I haven't seen enough. I have not seen enough from Anthony Davis to give him that mantle of being the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers, the franchise guy. I haven't seen it. He has the talent, and in reality, he should already be that guy with LeBron being 37, getting injured more often. You're not seeing him on the floor as much as you used to. He should be that guy, but the thing is, AD's playing less games than LeBron is. He's playing like 40 games, 45 games. That's not helpful. That's not a franchise guy. That's like you're basically a better version of Kristaps Porzingis. You're always hurt, you're talented, but what does that matter if you're not playing? And if you look at his numbers, they've been slowly declining, especially his shooting. He just can't hit jump shots like that anymore. He misses a lot of jump shots. I don't know what's going on with him. He's slowly declining, not even slowly declining from that. Actually, you could say rapidly declining, because 2020, he was solid. At least for his position, he was pretty solid. You look at him now, he don't even hit none of those shots. And he's a big reason why the Lakers offense struggle, because him not hitting those shots, Russell Westbrook not hitting shots, and then LeBron having to do what he always does, obviously that's a recipe for disaster. But when we talk about AD, if you guys remember, after having that great 2020 season where they won the championship, that same offseason, AD got a max contract extension and was seen as the prized possession, the next quote-unquote Laker great to lead the franchise. But right now, Anthony Davis, in reality, is probably the biggest question of them all. And if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you want to get back to being what you are, one of the NBA's most storied franchises. But these past few years have been rough, with the exception of 2020. There's a lot of questions that are going to need to be answered if they want to get back to that greatness, because right now, it just seems like a big cloud of question marks, you could say, I guess, floating over the Los Angeles Lakers' heads, and they can't figure out what's going on. But they're going to have to figure it out quick because time is ticking. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Link will be down in the description below. This has been a checkup where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.